Welcome back to another edition of New Amsterdam Radio, the podcast for thinkers, doers, and creatives. It is I, the mayor, Flobo Boys, in the mayor's office because I feel like I live here. But I'm being joined by someone who was doing the dang thing. We actually crossed paths in the wedding space. I know if you're listening to the show, you know that I am also a video game caster. I'm a podcast. I'm an author. I'm a middle distance runner. But I'm actually a DJ. My day job is actually nights and weekends. I DJ in the Southern California area. My guest, Melissa Buffaloe of Blue Moon Event Planning. How are you doing today?
I'm so good. So good. Nice to see you.
Hey, yeah, it's been a while. I mean, it's almost, 3-4 months since we last worked together?
Yes. Yeah. Last October.
Feels like it was yesterday. It was like 3 lockdowns ago. It was crazy.
Right.
Yeah, there's no time. It's 2022. And when I try to think about things I did in 18, 19, or 20, I'm like, when was that? Last week? 10 years ago?
Right. Yep. Same.
So let's talk about Blue Moon Event Planning, because we have worked before and I've always seen you hustling. Everyone has good things to say about you. When you launch your own business, which is always a goal, is to do well, but what's been your path of creating that goodwill with your clients? How do you get that good rep when you linked into it?
Yes. So I'd say the most important is obviously the relationship you have with your clients, but also vendors and venues. I think that's really the key to really grow the business, and obviously all the good reviews and everything like that. But it's really the relationships with your fellow vendors that I cherish the most, honestly.
Yeah. How'd you get into it then? If you're just sitting there going, you know what this world needs? A planner that doesn't suck. Like how? When did you decide to jump
How
in?
did you get into it? Well, I mean, my history is a little. I've been in events and live events for so many years, like 10 plus years at this point. In different facets. Yeah, so for me, it wasn't just like, I didn't really fall into it. I just kind of took some turns into it, and it just kind of happened. But yeah, I mean, I guess now you can go to school and like for event planning in the hospitality industry and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, I think with us now, human beings, we can dabble in a bunch of things, but it takes a lot to say, you know what, I could actually make this a career or at very least a business. I mean, was that a particular moment for you, or was it something like a culmination of experiences going, hey, I know stuff people don't, let me find a way to build my own empire that way?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, doing a side hustle, having it as a side hustle, which I did for many years, and then just having that moment where you're like, you know what, I can do this full time. I'm going to jump into it. So you do. And I did, beginning of 2018, really full time, as well as assisting and leading for other companies as well as a freelancer. So, kind of like filling in the gaps of Blue Moon and, making sure my schedule is full and making all my money and, all that.
All right, let me ask you a real talk question. You see, a lot of us smaller vendors feel it's kind of hard to get in the business, especially in Southern California with vendor lists and giant stuffy venues. You know who you are out there. What was your experience? I know you broke through because, again, you have goodwill with your clients, but like, what was that like feeling the first time getting out there, getting those no's, you got to be on the vendor list type deals?
Yeah. I love and hate vendor lists because I think there's enough work out there for everybody. So, for me, I really, like I said, cherish those relationships with the other vendors and other venues and photographers, because when couples are starting out their planning process, they've either, already done engagement photos with the photographer, or they're getting their venue. That's the first thing you have to do to get your date and all that kind of stuff. So it's really getting in with those folks and proving that you're good at what you do and they can trust you with our clients and making an event successful. But it's really that's where it's all about. So that's what it's all about.
What I like about the show is I can ask cliche questions. So here's the cliche question for you. When I'm getting married, theoretically, I'm not, but if I am, why should I go with a planner? I feel like this is a hubris there for a couple to be like, oh, we'll get Aunt Gladys to do it, or we'll do it ourselves. So why should everyone invest in a planner?
Yes. Hate that question. No, I'm just kidding. No. You should bare minimum get a coordinator for your day of. And really, most day of coordinators are really, at least in my packages and a lot of other planners that I know, will guide you along the way, because you don't know what's unreasonable. What's, is this $3,000 bill good or bad, or like what's the typical price for this, that, and the other thing. And we planners really provide that for our clients. And you know, grandma Aunt Gladys doesn't know any of that, and she doesn't have the connection. She doesn't have, you want to hire somebody that's also that you can trust. So all of my favorite vendors, right?
Yeah.
And I always just call my favorites, not my preferred, but like my favorites. Yeah, I mean, they're going to show up on time. They're going to do a great job. They're going to, fulfill what they've agreed upon.
Oh yeah, it was for us sitting down with clients, going, you know what, we're thinking about going with a playlist, and you're like, oh no, not the playlist. You sit there going, look, I understand you want to make something affordable and cost effective, but what are you doing? There's a base level.
Don't worry. I convince people. I was like, here's why you need a DJ. First of all, like,
right.
they're. Yeah, I mean, I don't need to tell you, but
it's rough out there in these streets, man. I tell you.
It is. You can't have your cousin, managing the playlist, and then all of a sudden there's an iPad with everybody going around just like using. Oh, it's a nightmare.
It's rough. I wasn't fortunate enough to jump in 2017. The legend goes, and it's true, I got let go from my corporate job on Thanksgiving Day, and I just hastily made a website to catch the tail end of engagement season into 18. So 18 was like famine, 19 was even worse, and I struggled with trying to break through. And well, with 2020, the world had stopped, and for whatever reason, I mean, between the Black community and the Asian community, the LGBT community, there was a lot more voices out there about how representation amongst our vendors. And I felt like one of the benefits of that was now I can tag my business as being Black owned, which in fact opened up more clients looking for specifically that. Has that affected your business as well? And if so, like, and in what way?
I mean, I'm very forthcoming on my website, and I did tick that box too when Wedding Wire and The Knot kind of came out with that, which was lovely of them. Definitely love that their inclusivity is there. Much better than years past, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really thankful for that. But I'm not sure. I think it's funny that my queer community is really not. They're not the most weddings I have. It's not. But that being said, my heterosexual couples are want to support somebody in the community, so that's why they chose me, or whatever, or their cousin or their sister, or there's somebody in their family that they just really want to support. Yeah, so that's been lovely.
Is it empowering or kind of pandering? Where do you lay on that? I've heard both ways in both camps.
I mean, no, it's empowering. I love that people want to support. Yeah. Love is love.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It was interesting because I think that trying to find ways to make yourself have staying power is always important when it comes to that sort of thing. So enough about that, because I know the grind could be hours upon days, and you don't have off days like everyone else. I think we talked about this offline. You have off days like on Monday or Tuesday?
Yeah, my Mondays, I really try not to like schedule anything. Like I can do whatever I want. I still end up doing my emails and like work a little bit, but no appointments, no site visits.
So what do you do then on your day off?
Oh man. So, okay. If it's in the 70s, I'm usually at the beach. I'm a beach baby. I will go there anytime. I mean, I grew up in Colorado and lived on the East Coast for 10 years. So I want to be on the beach any second I can.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'm working out, chilling, having wine, hanging out with the puppies.
Are you a yoga person, weight training, volleyball? Like what? Breakdancing? How do you work out?
Mostly running. I'll lift a little bit of weights. I like to bike ride on the beach, like down the path here in Long Beach. Kind of all the way up and down. There's a nice like 10-mile stretch that I can do.
Yeah.
I got to work up to it now. I got to work back up to it. During COVID, I definitely could do it easily, but now I'm like, oh, how about 7 today?
I can never do that. I do my little 2-mile loop. I'm like, all right, cheeseburgers definitely deserve today. That's
right.
Could possibly. So 2022, it's by the time this airs, the middle of February. I mean, do you do that year goal plan for what you want to do, or are you more in the moment, take it as it comes? What does the next 12 months look for you?
I mean, I'm really in the moment. I mean, this year is shaping up really nicely already, so I'm happy to see that. It's funny because people book their planners and coordinators at different times. It's not always a year out. Sometimes it's only a couple months out. So my heavy booking is up until probably July. I still have some like room in the fall right now, but I'm confident that people will come.
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I just kind of, I do work with Pop the Champagne, my other company that I work with. And, whatever weekends I have free or want to work, she helps fill those in for me, which is lovely.
So you have the two companies running concurrently. It's like a booking agent sort of deal. It's kind of like an affiliation arrangement.
Well, yeah. Well, so Allie, the owner of Pop the Champagne, runs she only does day of coordination. That's her one package. So she and our gaggle of other planners, we get handed off our clients about 12 weeks out. And she'll divvy it up between all the leads. And then we'll schedule assistants and everything. But she's got a full team of people. So, and I'm part of her team.
Yeah. And this is going to be kind of cool to have that extra, I won't say a revenue stream, but an extra way to source clients and meet people, correct?
Yeah. And she's fantastic. And we think the same way. We're the same type of person. So it's synergy, whenever those clients do come to me, I know exactly where they've been with her. So
what I like about you most, Melissa, is like you have like the best like energy about it. It's like you're pleasant, but not like sickeningly so. You tell it how it is. I guess a question I had for you was, how do you keep yourself in your job, but you have to deal with so many different personalities while someone's best day of their life is happening in the background?
Yes. So I think this comes back to my theater experience. I was a event producer, obviously at the Queen Mary as well, but my theater experience as a production manager and stage manager, I had to deal with so many different personalities and keeping my cool doing that. Directors, designers, actors, musicians, and there's a lot of personalities I've had to deal with. And
oh wow,
I think with weddings, it's just I feel like I can do them in my sleep, so they don't feel difficult to me. The difficult part, I guess, is just dealing with those personalities, but I don't know. It's just. I mean, it's a very important day, and that's definitely important. But you just have to keep your cool. Like nothing is that dire. It's just not.
Yeah. Did you have a dream as a kid, like what you want to do when you grow up, or is it something like? Are you kind of like, no, you weren't into that whole like? Because I want to be a Power Ranger when I was a kid. That's what I wanted.
I know. You had told me I was going to be a wedding planner, back in the day. I'm not sure I believed you really. I mean, I did create Blue Moon event planning in high school. That's where the name came from. I even created a brochure. I was like, maybe subconsciously I did know I want to do this, but I think I like doing events. I didn't know weddings was actually going to be my thing. But
well, why the name then?
So I think again in high school, this was like my economy class or something. He was like, create a business, and I was like, okay. So I think blue moons are rare, so you want to have your rare occasion taken care of, right? So
that's genius.
Yeah.
so many guests I have on the show going like, "Are you based in Amsterdam?" I go, "No." Why does everyone say this? And I get it. That's everything's in a name.
Yeah. Yep. Once in a blue moon, right?
Right. Once in a blue moon harvest and all that.
Yeah.
So
yep.
As you're working on one thing with your business, what about you personally? I mean, I know you probably want to travel, probably want to do something cool with your life. You know what I mean? Like not be a slave to just a desk. What does Melissa Buffaloe want to do when everything's said and done? Like what's on your bucket list if you have one?
Oh, I mean, I think making sure I'm spending time with family and, I'm on the opposite coast from family. So whenever I get a chance to go out there, I do. Yeah, again, beach, any beach, all the beaches. Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to, like any countries you want to visit?
Yeah, I've been trying to like put all of my traveling like aspirations aside, until it
Why?
Like, I don't know when they're gonna happen. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. So it's good to have a little vision board type deal. Like, oh, I would love to go visit Lisbon.
No, I'd love to go back to Europe. I mean, my heritage is Italian, so I would love to go back to Italy. I want to go to Spain.
What part of Italy?
So I'm from the Tuscan region. So,
nice.
Well, my family's from the Tuscan region. So I'd like to go back there. Florence for sure. Venice is one of my favorites. Again, on the water. Water baby over here.
Yeah, respect. I had the fortunate experience of going to Italy for a wedding. Actually, I was booked to DJ a wedding on the Amalfi Coast.
Lucky.
On the surface, it is, and I'll tell people, "Oh yeah, it was," but like truthfully, I was so broke, and I forgot that dollars are weaker than euros. It was miserable, but it was a cool
Wow.
experience because I got the photo op, and the photo op let them more work. Because hey, look, they booked you to go to Europe. It must be a big
Yeah.
deal. But in the
Yeah.
course of doing that for my business, I was like, I'm really to suffer for the brand. I'm really to suffer for what I want to do out there. Even though it seems weird saying that about Italy because it's the most beautiful place on the planet.
Right.
I'm suffering, you know.
Yeah, I'm suffering. Yeah, but it's a lot to travel for work too, you know? I mean, yeah. I don't really go outside of Southern California very often.
Yeah.
I do have a couple this year, but I like pick and chose what I'm gonna do, which is nice.
Right. And if I do, here's my travel fees. Right now, I'm just kidding. That's whatever.
Right. Well, I mean, they need to take care of that. They gotta
Oh
bring
yeah,
us.
absolutely. We're talent, y'all.
Yeah.
So a lot of people listening to the show now are contemplating that jump. They're
Mm,
contemplating of having that their brand that's in their head on a piece of paper. In fact, a friend of mine hooked me up this week. She lives in Jersey. She started an HR company, and I'm just like hiding on it with bated breath. Like if it becomes like incorporated, call me. I'll interview you. But do you have any advice for someone who may be on that fence, trying to say, "Hey, look, man, my day job is stable. I don't know if I can do it, or I want to do it, but this, that, and the other thing."
yeah, I would say like lean into any contacts that you have, you know, and network and really have conversations with as many people as possible and get people's advice and yeah, lean into all those contacts that you think you might know or you know. Also obviously save money. I mean, if you're saving, save up for it to
Mm-hmm.
make the leap. That way you've got a cushion. You don't need to like be so like, oh, I gotta take everything, you know. Which we all have been there. We all do that. So no shame in that. And even honestly working one of whatever for free just to get your portfolio going, get your, you know, whatever type of business you're doing. Do something for free, do something for a friend, get your friends and family's help, you know.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
Hey, that works. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
And there's something that you learned as a mistake, and one of the mistakes you made in business that you can say, "Hey, look, man, don't do this." Like for me, I made the mistake a lot of people do with equipment based businesses and bought the top of the line stuff, and I realized, oh wait, if you load in your car back and forth week after week, they get banged up. I learned that the hard way. What about you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I would say for me personally, it was investing too much money in like the marketing stuff.
Mm,
That didn't really have the ROI that I wanted it to have. So you know, just being careful where you're spending your limited dollars, especially when you're starting out. So I think for me that was like, I really didn't really need to do that. But
oh yeah.
you know, if you don't know better, if you're still trying to get into it, you know, it's hard. But
I just want to say what I'm going to say now is an opinion expressed only by me. I'm not getting my guests in trouble here. But to your point about advertising, one of the worst things I realized as a business owner is that love, hate relationship with Yelp. They are vicious when they call. It's like a shakedown. It's like, hey, look, you want to have a good placement in your ads, huh?
yeah,
Do you?
yeah. Well, and you know, and any of those sites that try to get after you, it's like they really hound you, you know. I would say my suggestion for that is to have a Google like number, like a separate business number that screens calls like that too, so you don't
Yeah.
have to deal with it.
Pro tips all around.
Pro
Melissa,
tip.
I love the fact you just came in, dropped the science, and just pieced out. I love it. Thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate your time as well. If someone was listening to you now, they want to know more about you, your brand, your company, how do they go about doing that?
I'd say go to the website www.bluemooneventplanning all spelled out.com. Obviously, I'm on Instagram at Buffalo or at Buffaloed actually, and also that's me personally, and then at Blue Moon Event Planning for the business.
Oh, you can't miss it. Your picture's on front and center of the website,
Yeah, it's all over.
bluemooneventplanning.com. If you want it proof, it's my company. No,
Yeah, me.
you're about the brand. I hear you. I'm all about that. Yeah, thank you so much. I want you back on a future episode because I know when people hear this, they're gonna be like, "Oh, that's the girl from the show." But great.
Yeah, happy to answer any questions. DM me, email me, whatever.